Hey there, thanks for watching the Young Turks. I'm Brooke Thomas, and as always, very happy to be sitting in on the conversation. We're going to talk a little Golden Globes action. We're going to talk about the award ceremony, representation, maybe the lack thereof. Is it new? Are things changing? I want to get your thoughts also, so make sure to leave them in the comments. Tweet us. First up, we are talking to Brooke Obie, the managing editor at Shadow and Act. Brooke, nice to meet you. Nice name, too.
Yes, love your name. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I am very glad to have you. I actually really like Shadow and Act, and I think that it's pretty important. It's something important for the industry to have. It's an important platform, but a lot of people, I think, maybe our viewers may not be completely familiar with it. So first off, I want you to tell us a little bit about Shadow and Act.
Sure. Shadow and Act is the premier digital destination for content, Black entertainment news, covering film, TV, Broadway, and web series. And our whole mission is to uplift and to highlight Black content and Black content creators.
That's awesome. And I was talking to one of our producers, Angel, and she had a little bit of a conversation with you, and then it got us thinking. And I wanted to ask you about your ideas as far as how we can, and I think you used this phrase with her, decolonize Hollywood, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in a group of people who thinks we need to decolonize everything, but working in the entertainment space in particular, decolonizing Hollywood is very, very important. And so thinking about how to decolonize Hollywood, we have to think about how we've been conditioned to think of these institutions. So we look at something like the Golden Globes, and then we see how consistently white these nominees are, and the projects that they're awarding, and the people that they're snubbing. And, it hurts. You have something like When They See Us, which was, Ava DuVernay's mini-series on the Exonerated Five that literally changed these five men's lives and, was trending worldwide. For 3 days when it first came out, and is just such a powerful series. And to see that completely snubbed by the Golden Globes, we start to, that's something that hurts. But when we're thinking about decolonizing, we're not thinking of looking to these awards shows and these institutions that were never created for us in the first place to honor us, to see our talent, to see us as, the creatives that we are. And so what that means is I understand how important these award shows are and these nominations are as far as helping people's careers. So what we have to do is think about ways to connect with each other, connect to the money, connect to producers, connect creatives to the talent that they need to be connected to, so that we can start actually making our own projects and not relying on these institutions to validate the work that we're doing.
Can we do both, though?
Sure. I think when we're waiting for these institutions to change, like that, they're not going to change on their own, right?
Yeah.
And so you have these movements that are happening. We had Oscar So White that brought about, some change in the voting body of the Oscars, thanks to April Rain. And those things are great, but we're still seeing... Green Book still won Best Picture this year. And so you're still seeing this overwhelmingly white majority of people who are the ones who are deciding what is valuable in Hollywood. And so this is just going to take a really, really long time if we're looking for these institutions to start validating us. And so the ways that we need to be moving now is to think about how we can connect with each other outside of these institutions. And so we have, like, Shadow and Act had the Rising Awards, our first Rising Awards in February of this year. We honored Barry Jenkins with the Game Changer Award and 32 Rising Award winners in the industry in 4 different categories, and connected them to people, to producers, to other creatives, so that they can start making their projects and go around these gatekeepers and stop waiting for people to say that they are worthy and say that their talent deserves to be seen.
I completely understand that. Let's even though we are here to talk Golden Globes, I get what you're saying completely, and I like that. I guess we do. Let's break down the Golden Globes and what happened, because you touched a little bit on When They See Us, and as everyone knows, this week the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, they did announce the nominees for this year's show, and I mean, we started talking about it already. There is a complete lack of representation when it comes to people of color, when it comes to women. What were your thoughts, first off, just when the list came out?
Well, I'm not surprised.
Okay,
Honestly, it's always disappointing. I mean, a movie like Just Mercy. I think Just Mercy is the most revolutionary movie to be put out this year, and so to see it get paid dust is it's disappointing because there was so many great performances in that, but also the message in that I think is just so revolutionary. This idea of having us reimagine what punishment looks like for people who have been convicted of crimes. That's Just Mercy follows the story of Brian Stevenson, this the civil rights attorney fighting to get people off of death row. It's such a powerful film that has been completely ignored. Starring Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan,
Right? How could
Rob
who
Morgan.
ignores a movie starring those two? Like, what world are we living in? Right?
It's really, really surprising, and well, disappointing, I would say, but not so much surprising. But yes, I think Regina King in Watchmen, that's another revolutionary show. I mean, she's a superhero who fights white supremacy on HBO every Sunday night. Fantastic show. Damon Lindelof created that. And she was also ignored. Zendaya in Euphoria, another fantastic performance and fantastic show that was completely ignored. David Makes Man on Oprah Winfrey Network. Terrell Alvin McCraney, who created Moonlight. He's the one that created David Makes Man, and that show as well, just completely ignored. So there was Lupita Nyong'o in Us. There were fantastic performances by Black people, by people of color that were completely ignored. Even The Farewell, that was nominated in the best foreign film rather than best picture when it's an A24 production, and Lulu Wang has been very clear that she sees her movie as an American film. So it's been a consistent othering. I think every year we get a reminder that we are not who these award shows were created for, and that we need to do something else in order to get our projects made and seen by the public.
That is just such, I think, a great way to put it, a complete othering, and a reminder of that so often. What were your thoughts about, because we got the SAG Awards nominations out today, and then the Critics' Choice Award nominations earlier this week, and they were different than the Golden Globe. Not too far off, but different. Not as many snubs. And I find that fascinating.
Not as many snubs in the Critics' Choice. I think there was a lot more of diversity in the Critics' Choice for sure. When They See Us finally getting their nomination, and Jarrell Jerome, who won the Emmy for When They See Us, Best Actor in a Limited Series, is getting nominated in the Critics' Choice as well. And so, and even Zendaya, Regina King. So there's a lot more diversity in the Critics' Choice, and I think that critics are more likely to watch the movies that were sent. I mean, I think that's the other thing too. I feel like with the Golden Globes, there were just a lot of people who voted who just maybe didn't watch anything other than, those top movies that everybody was talking about, which is disappointing. But yeah, we get a lot of screeners as critics. We get a ton of screeners. And it takes a lot of time, but I mean, especially someone like me who I vote in a couple of these organizations, and I take it very seriously, and I watch everything. So I wish that was the common practice, but it's really not.
And you know what I find fascinating, when we talk about Jarrell Jerome, in episode 4, just specifically of When They See Us, I think that what's frustrating for me, and I think for a lot of people, is that when someone like Jarrell Jerome is recognized, it's like, whew, okay. It's almost surprising, even though that should be a given, right?
Yes. But I think, too, when you're looking at the exonerated 5, these are men whose lives were destroyed as children. They were vilified for so long. So to create this piece of work, it was already going to be risky. It needed somebody like Ava DuVernay, who was so unapologetically Black, so unapologetic in the way that she creates her art, that she was able to tell the complete truth about this story and not worry about who was going to be put off by it or anything like that, and not worry about these awards. And so thankfully the story was told in a manner that honors these 5 men's lives and what they've been through over the past 30 years, and gave them some sort of peace and healing, which Ava has said is the prize for her. But I never expect for revolutionary works of art that center Black people, and provide us with our humanity, and highlight white supremacy and its impact on Black people. I never expect white supremacist institutions to honor those things. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by not only Jarrell Jerome getting nominated, but also him winning. But that was, again, the only award. There were so many losses for when they see us at the Emmys as well.
That's very true. One more question I wanted to get your thoughts about, like, no women directors going behind the scenes. And that's what my thought was with Ava DuVernay still walking this earth and working. How?
Right.
You know?
Right. And it's, and it's, there is, I think, and I saw the HFPA's response, the president's response to the criticism that there were no women, and him saying, we just vote by the film. And it just so happens that, all the films that you all like and think are the best were created by men. I think it should hopefully be a rallying cry for all of us to finally understand that fighting for validation in these institutions that are outdated, that were never created for us, is not going to be the solution. If we can all, as people of color, as women, as marginalized communities, come together and create our own projects and support each other's projects, and help them get to light, then we can kind of all, as a group, I mean, what would these award shows be without these high-profile celebrities that prop them up? So if we're all divesting from these and saying, I'm not actually going to participate in, an award show where all the nominees are white, in my category, that's not something I want to be a part of. That would start, I think, quite a revolution in Hollywood.
Brooke Obie, managing editor at Shadow and Act. I want to have you back. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. I would like to dig deep into Watchmen and how it is being perceived.
Oh my gosh, yes, I
board.
love Watchmen so much.
Me too. Okay, so we're going to have you back on to talk a little bit about that and much, much more. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
All right. More on the conversation. I'm actually hopping out of the seat, and Anna Kasparian is going to be here, so stay with us.